Bro, Yuzuki, man. Somebody explain to me how every single character in this series can be this much love. A Place Further Than the Universe, Episode 3, once again, absolutely incredible. I love this series way too much. It's hands down still in my top 3 of this season. But diving into this episode, and before I even begin to touch on the hilarity of my best girl Shirase in this episode, which, let's not even go there right now. Just when I thought I couldn't love this fucking goofy idiot any more than I already do, she blows everything she's already done out of the water with how ridiculous and over the top and hilarious she was in this episode. Heading into Yuzuki, which is where I want to start. I was wondering last week, and I was pleasantly surprised, like I said in the last review, with Hinata's character and how she subverted those basic tropes that a character like her normally adheres to. And I feel the same way about Yuzuki. I was wondering what she would be like, what kind of archetype it would be. And when I found out she was an idol, I was like, okay, do something with this. And I knew the series would. And I absolutely adore her. First of all, I have to say, even with her bullshit reason of, that she gives at first of not wanting to go to Antarctica because it's cold and she left Hokkaido because of that and everything like that, I was like, finally, somebody who's not, all gung-ho and exuberant about going to Antarctica. Keep this series grounded in its realism, which is one of the strongest points it has going for it, despite how cute and fun it actually is. Because not everybody's gonna want to fucking go to Antarctica. I was like, yo, real talk, look, for me, I'm just saying I wouldn't want to go out there. Like, I'm not, my girl is a penguin fanatic. Penguins are cool. I'm not all about seeing that. I'm playing. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I'd probably go, but I'm just saying, that what are we really going to do out there? Fuck the expedition, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, I like that about it straight out of the gate, that this was a character that was subverting everybody's goal to go to Antarctica by being like, no, I'm not trying to do this. And as we get into the deeper reasons why and find out more about the character, I'm like, this is, again, continuing to remain grounded and relatable. It's not something that we haven't seen before, but it's something that you see in real life time and time again, where you have a position of status and people treat you differently as a result. Think of fans that only flock to you because of, your status as an idol and everything like that, and therefore you have a hard time forging real, genuine bonds with people and leading a normal everyday life. And I'm just like, yo, I felt so bad for Yuzuki, like, for example, in the scene where she starts to make friends in the flashback, and they really only just want to take a picture with her and be around her because of her idol status. And it's painful to see, so that reason, in and of itself, I respected that. And I love how she could have easily become, and filtered into that role where she was more haughty and conceited and acquiesced to that and blindly obeyed what her mother had been telling her to do as her manager this whole time. But no, she began to stand up to her, to take a stand that this is the final time that she can actually have a normal high school experience, actually forge some real bonds with people, and she wants that more than anything. So I'm so happy that she's found, Kimari, Hinata, and Shirase, and it fully rounds out the group for me in a way where I can't wait to see the bonds between them strengthen and, the dynamic press forward, because they even say it to her in this episode. They're not best friends by any means. They just met less than a month ago. But by the end of this series and after the trials that they'll have gone through, it's going to be some of the strongest friendships that you can witness. I also really like what Yuzuki says to them, where she's basically like, look, this is the time where through those genuine bonds you start to forge a sense of identity. And without that, you can easily end up lost. And I'm like, yo, it's perfect. So when Kimari just embraced her, I was literally like, my heart was just like jumping for joy. I was like, this is the cutest fucking thing. And then when we see her in her room just kind of in bed reminiscing about it, and she's like, having friends, is this what it feels like? And she's just kind of jittery and everything like that. I'm like, she's so fucking adorable. They all are. And yes, Shirase is still my best girl, but I absolutely adore Yuzuki. Like that scene where she's staring at Shirase, then Shirase kind of just backs down immediately. There's just some subtle things with the dynamics that I really like. And as as far as, the animation is concerned with the character. Again, the expressiveness, how dynamic and vibrant and lively everything is, really stands out to me. I mean, I don't want to keep rehashing the same things I say about the formal aspects, so I'm really not going to. But for example, the dream sequence with the wind blowing and everything like that, Hinata's movements, and especially the scene with Shirase that I'm about to talk about right now, absolutely beautiful. The art, the quality, like for example, the heat mirage, when we see both Yuzuki and her mother at the beginning of the episode, it looked clean. It looked absolutely clean. So Madhouse is doing beautiful things with this series. I can't praise this staff overall enough. But anyway, getting into Shirase, man. This episode, this penguin freak, dude. The Polar Museum thing aside, where she's just kind of staring at the glass, fidgeting and breathing heavily. I'm like, yo, this dork. Because here's the thing. From the very beginning episode, when she finds out about Yuzuki, she's like, yo, somebody beat me to it? And she just like overreacts. She's like, yo, call the agency. Let's strong arm them. Tell them about me. And then both Hinata and Mari are like, you do it. And she's like, no, I couldn't possibly. After Hinata's already clowning her about her strategy from last week and everything like that. And you see them both kind of look at each other with these faces like, yo, I'm gradually starting to understand how this girl works. I'm like, yo, same. And that's what I absolutely love about her. I mean, her reaction when Yuzuki's like, yo, I know you really want to go take my place, and she just jumps on Mara and she's like, where did you leak it? Like Twitter? Your timeline? Like what the fuck is going on? And to finally see when she gets that opportunity to go, and she's just over the top, like, I told you my plan would work, and she opens the fucking window and she's like, penguins, wait for me, like, Aurora, wait for me. I was like, oh my fucking god. Then she stubs her toe not shortly after. I was dying. I was literally rolling for her. Like, that scene alone made me wish I was doing reactions to this series as well, because if you had seen me, it took me a while to cover. I had to pause the fucking episode. But it's that scene, for example, just how accentuated the expressiveness and the movements of the characters are. You really get a sense of these characters being very relatable, very real, and I almost feel as though they're real people to me, and I fucking adore them. But Shirase was absolutely hilarious in this episode, dude. I can't get over that scene. And as far as the development of the character is concerned, and really kind of fleshing it out and making them multidimensional, I like that little, banter between her and Hinata when they're riding the train home, and Shirase admits, she's like, I can't be selfish about it realistically. She's like, I can't just focus on my feelings. I know I want to go more than anything, but how do you guys feel? How does Yuzuki feel about it? We can't force her to do this, and I really respect that. That's just another element why this is a fucking goddess for me, and potentially one of my best girls of the fucking year. But again, Hinata with the grand wisdom. Hinata, what she says, it's a thin line between self-assertion and selfishness. I was like, yo, this fucking genius. It's realistically a genius with the shell of a ridiculous, over-the-top, Genki idiot. And it's perfect. It's perfect how they do subtle things like that to subvert basic tropes and basic archetypes. The thing, wrapping it up, I mean, Marty was awesome in this episode. I really realized through some of the banter and dialogue in this episode that the dynamic between Marty and Hinata and that synergy there is going to be the impetus for a lot of comedy going forward, and I think it really works. Like, for example, when they're trying to take a picture with Yuzuki early on in the episode, just little things like that make it even more fun, they're back and forth and whatnot. One thing I did feel bad about was Megumi, man. Like, we only got a glimpse of her. I knew she was going to slowly get left behind, especially once we actually go to Antarctica. Probably won't see any of her. I hope we do. I hope it kind of cuts back to her, eventually, or they, Mari gives her a call or something, because she's like, let's go get some food. And Shirase shows up, and of course, I love the bond and dynamic between Shirase and Mari, but Megumi's getting left back, and it feels kind of bad, man. I'm just like, oh, poor Megumi, man. And I thought she would just kind of, like, when Mari left, have a smile on her face, just be completely supportive, but it seems like she feels a little bit salty about it, dude, which is normal and perfectly understandable. And I hope Megumi just doesn't get tossed to the wayside. That's all I'm saying. Lastly, the final scene. I'm really interested to see what they're setting up there, especially with, like I've been saying, the series has the potential to get really dramatic and somewhat dark when we get into the plot point of Shirase's mother. We see this lady at the end of the episode, which I don't get it twisted. Don't misconstrue the situation. That's definitely not her mom. That's definitely not her mom. I'm assuming it's somebody else, who was on the expedition with her mom in the past. I mean, they go way back. You see the picture with her and Shirase in her youth. So I'm curious to see, what their relationship is like, what, if any, information she has about her mother, and whether she's going to support her joining the expedition or try and stifle that. So it's going to be interesting to see. But either way, overall, another brilliant episode of A Place Further in the Universe, maintaining the same caliber as far as the formal aspects, you know, and still so alive, and then perfect to witness, dude. I can't wait for more of this series. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on this third episode, and I'm out. Peace.